As the funding deadline for the federal government approaches, midnight Friday, there was a bipartisan deal to keep the government funded for 3 months, and that would keep basically all spending levels the same, add some money for farmers, add more money for disaster relief, and that was the bulk of it. And they had a deal with enough sponsors, it was going to work. Joe Biden was going to sign it, no big deal. Then Elon Musk and Donald Trump get in the way, and they say they want it killed. It's not fiscally responsible, end the deal. So it sounds like it might be in jeopardy. We're going to see what they do. It's going to be a big test to Donald Trump's power within his own caucus, within the Republican Party. If they pass this around his objections, that means he's going to be very weak going into his term, and he's not going to like appearing weak. One of the questions we have to ask, though, is, since Donald Trump didn't come out and say to kill this spending bill until after Elon Musk got involved, who's actually in charge? Is Musk calling the shots? Is he really the president behind the scenes? Is Donald Trump too weak to make up his own mind? He's got to listen to Musk? Something to think about. But beyond that, Donald Trump has added another demand for this spending bill. And he wants to eliminate the debt ceiling entirely, abolish it. Now, that's gotten a lot of support from Democrats, that part of it. But they're on board for getting rid of the debt ceiling. They're not on board for the spending idea part of changing that deal. So we'll see what happens there. But Republicans never want to get rid of the debt ceiling. Why? Because it's something they always campaign on. They want to rally against it every time the debt limit comes up. And the debt limit is the amount of money the federal government can officially borrow before there's no more money. Now, we've been operating in the negative for a long time. We borrow money to pay our bills, and then we pay interest on that money. And that's why we have such a large debt, is we're constantly borrowing and then paying interest and then borrowing more to pay off the interest. It's a never-ending cycle. But there's always been like an upper limit. Basically, it's the credit card limit for the United States. And Donald Trump wants to eliminate that completely, go to an unlimited measure. And that would eliminate the ability to shut the government down when they can't agree on whether or not to raise it and to raise it to what point. So that would probably be a good thing. Can't believe I'm saying that Donald Trump might actually do something good, but here we are. Now, if they raise it, that would be one thing, but I don't know if you're gonna get enough Republicans involved and willing to make that move. So ultimately, we will see if they pass this funding deal, if they pass the bipartisan one that Donald Trump doesn't want, if they try to pass something else. Problem is, Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, has already said that if it's not the bipartisan deal, they're not going to vote for it. Basically, if they try to add a bunch of cuts after they worked out a deal, that Republicans are on their own. So ultimately, I guess we better hope they can come up with a deal, but the clock is ticking.